I've never been to a motor show before, and the first thing that strikes me is the prevailing strange atmosphere of reverence for these latest objects of worship. But alongside the celebration of glamour and power, there were a few nods to the environment. Most futuristic was GM's hydrogen car, using fuel cells to power an electric drivetrain. It's on test in Germany and the US. But what I'd come to see were the electric cars. Are they at last offering a realistic alternative to replace the family petrol car? The G-Whiz, which is now offered in an even greener livery, has become a familiar sight on city streets in the UK, but it's too small and too limited in range to be more than a city car. A promising alternative seemed to be Quiet Car 2.
Quite a few people are liking the fact that there's finally a 5-door family hatchback on the market, which is fully electric. Instead of having a 2-seater plastic car, they got a 5-seater metal car, which is a lot safer. The chassis is designed by Lotus, and the bodywork is created by Mitsubishi in China, and then, like I said, we could retransfer them over here and convert them into electric vehicles. This car is special because it has hub motors, one in each wheel, and we believe we're the first company in the world to have that in a standard production electric car. It also has 23 lithium batteries in the front, and our cars come with the lithium batteries. They come provided with the price, $12,995.
Which is 13 grand?
13,000, yeah, just
VAT,
under. Including VAT, yeah.
Right, and is that on the market now?
Not at the moment. It plans to be on the market in about 6 months' time.
So what is the downside? Why wouldn't everybody go for this? There's so much with petrol prices.
The main problem we have found is either people living in terraced houses who can't charge the car, they can't get access to the charger point from their house, which is why a lot of companies are trying to provide charger points on the streets and outside houses so they can charge it outside. Yeah. If you do plan on doing 200 miles a day, then obviously a electric car wouldn't be for you, but if you're planning on doing it for a school run, for the shopping, or going to work 20 miles each way, then it'd be perfect. It'd be a lot cheaper than running a standard petrol car and a lot more friendly to the environment.
What's the kind of feeling? You think people are serious about the climate advantages? What do they say to you?
I think more people are concerned about the rise in fuel costs, and being a electric car, it's a lot cheaper. We predict is about 1 pence per mile compared to the 20-25 pence per mile in the standard family car.
What about the climate issue? Does that come up for people?
That does come up for a few people, but like I said, the main concern is the rise in fuel costs for most people because they can't afford to run a family car these days now. It's starting to become a bit too hard for them.
Or there's the Fiat 500, converted to an electric car by the NICE company.
So this does 75-mile range on a full charge, a top speed of 60 miles an hour.
What's the cost of this?
The cost of this one, because it's a limited production model at the moment, is lease only. So we are looking, though, to maybe put a price on it next year, but don't know what that will be yet as such.
In the range, any idea of the range?
I can tell you roughly, and it would be very roughly, so between maybe 12 and 20,000. There's some that's going to fall in there, so yeah. But I think the first reaction is, electric car, what's all that all about? Oh, it doesn't do much, doesn't go fast enough. But then when you point out that electric cars our electric cars here today are mainly for those short journeys or people live in cities ideally, and then you point out there's no road tax, there's no congestion charge, there's free parking in a lot of places. It only costs you 80p on the electricity bill to charge up the battery full on all these models, and that makes people start thinking about how much money they're actually going to save, and then doesn't look so bad. And electric cars have come a long way in design as well, so they don't look quite like a milk float or a boxy type car anymore. They are catching up, and it is the future.
The final electric car that caught my eye and struck me as a realistic option was made by the Norwegian company Think.
Well, this is the first real electric car. So this is the first electric car that's fully homologated for Europe and the US. So it has airbags and ABS and a safety cell, side impact bars, 3-point pre-tensioning seatbelts. It's a real car, and because of that it has a much greater range and speed than previous EVs. So all the EVs on the road at the moment are what's classed as quadricycles. So they have a very specific range and speed, because they have to be a certain weight and can only have a certain power. Once it becomes a real car, you can have a much bigger battery and a bigger motor as well. So, you know, this will go on a motorway quite happily, and it has a range of 120 miles, which is a lot more than the other cars.
Sure. And what's the top speed?
65.
And what does it cost?
Well, we haven't released UK pricing yet, so I can't really say. As a guide, I'd say around £15,000, but that's really a guide, and it could be 20 grand, it could be 12, you know.
Sure. Sure.
You know, now that Gordon Brown's come out and said that he wants to encourage us all to have electric cars by 2020, I'd very much like to think that he might do some, you know, 0% VAT, for instance, on zero-emission vehicles and that sort of thing, to help encourage the manufacturers and consumers to adopt this sort of technology.
Yeah, right. So what's the snag? If I was going to dump my petrol vehicle, how would you persuade me to take this up instead?
Well, basically, it depends how you use your vehicle, and it really does only suit certain drivers at this time. You have to have somewhere to charge it, and that's very important, either at home or at work.
Yeah.
And you have to use the vehicle within a specific range. And if you do, and if you don't need a bigger car, then this is great. It'll save you money, it'll save the environment. It's a fun thing to drive. It's really fun to drive, and it's quiet. You know, and it is the future, and this is a frontier vehicle. You know, every manufacturer that's in this show will have an electric vehicle in the next 5 to 10 years, and every manufacturer in this show will have electric drivetrains in the next 15 years. So this is the start of something.
And to me it certainly did seem like the start of something. Even if there's still no affordable family car that I could buy today, by next year there should be a number of good green options.